What up, YouTube? We got another authentic. This is from Vapergate and Fogwind. Two big name companies, actually, that came together back in the day, which are still kind of actually big name. They still kind of make a few things. They're just not as well known because of, like, say, some of the other ones that make, like, Hammer of God and all that type of stuff like that. I mean, but this is the Alliance. And look at that pretty thing. It's about 24 millimeter. I can't remember what it says on here. This thing comes with this awesome, like, cool little case too. No specs on it, and I couldn't really find any specs online of it either. I'm gonna say it's probably about, well, compared to the El Cabrón, for being an authentic, they're about the same, and the El Cabrón is 22. So I'm gonna probably say it's about 22 to 23 millimeters around. But I really enjoy this thing because airflow on that is just amazing. Which the top piece here is not airflow. That's just literally design. The way the airflow is this. The barrel. They're like, oh, wait, I can't change airflow because it doesn't change. Oh, but wait. When you get into the case, these barrels here are your airflow, which each one of them are different. Goes from the biggest one that's on there to the smallest one to the medium-sized one. And it comes in this package. Your RD will be sitting in here, and it comes with all sorts of extras inside of here. It comes with a metal tip pre-installed, but you get an Ultim, I think it is. No, a Delrin. You get a Delrin tip. All sorts of extra grub screws, all sorts of, there's even tools in there, O-rings. Comes with a couple of little coils, which are pretty chintzy ones. I'd melt them things inside my mod, so comes with literally anything that you need to, like, rebuild this thing for a couple of times, for sure. Now your deck, old school 3-post deck, 3 Phillips screwdrivers. Same kind of setup as, like, say, an El Cabrón from back in the day. Put a post in there, put a post in there, other side post in there, another leg into the middle. Got a pretty deep juice well on this thing, and I mean a pretty deep juice well, actually, compared to, like, say, El Cabrón, because this is almost the same setup as the El Cabrón, almost, except for, like, the airflow barrel. And that's what I was saying, like, you just pull it off like you do a regular thing, regular RDA, and just pull the barrel off, put a different barrel on, and just slides on. You ain't got to do no unscrewing, no none of that, so pretty easily changed. Like, oh, I don't want that barrel. Bam, done. Easy as that. Still got a nice wide bore. Even the other one's got a wide bore too. But depending on, like, what you're vaping at, I would go with the Delrin one because, like, I did get it so hot that it burnt the shit out of my lips. Not fun. So I'd put the Delrin one on so, like, you don't burn your lips. Don't go with the metal one if you're going to get it hot. I'm going to go ahead and juice her up a little bit more. I see she was kind of dry. But just build on it. Make sure you got enough room for when you're putting your barrel on that, you got that. But 2 O-rings sitting right there, which actually holds this barrel on quite well compared to, say, like, El Cabrón, Mad Hatter, even a Troll that I had, because after time, like, they just loosen right up, just fall right off. This thing is just as solid as could be with the O-rings, like, nice. Like I said, top here, you can hold the barrel, that pops right off. 2 O-rings inside of here, which holds it onto the barrel. This is not airflow holes, so that is not adjustable. The drip tip comes out, which is your normal kind of like 510 kind of drip tip. It should be a 510 drip tip on that, which then just literally sits right on there, so you can juice it like that, or you can juice it like through that hole if you want to, pulling the drip tip off, or you can juice it through the drip tip. So you got a whole lot of options with this thing. This thing is like legitimately its own just like big kit. And back in the day, Fogwind was its own kind of thing. Vapergate was its own kind of thing, and they made some pretty big name things back in the day. But I'm not going to go into that, and I'm not going to call like a bunch of stuff out, because I'm going to be putting a lot of that stuff in videos. So you'll find out eventually. But like I said, it comes in this big old kit with 2 different barrels, already one pre-installed. So you get 3 different airflow barrels, which is pretty nice. Everything that you need to start right off, with a couple coils, O-rings, extra screws, extra drip tip, and also inside of this nice plastic tube case here. So even if you want to keep this kit on the go with you, you can take all the stuff out of here that you're not going to use, but keep like your screwdriver in there if you need to, and throw 4 or 5 coils inside of here if you need to. And just throw your top on. There you go. There's your whole vaping kit. Take your mod with you and a bottle of juice. You got everything you need right in there, and then you'll have everything you need there. So basically just keep this with you if you needed to, for if you needed your spare parts for it, you know, to build on it later. You'd have everything you need. So, but what comes in it is 3 different size stainless steel airflow barrels with a stainless steel 3-post base copper 510 contact, because you can change that middle post out from stainless steel to a copper contact if you want. It's got a newly vertical heat sink design, negative post milled for the deck, uni-post deck wide bore cap, and a standard 510 drip tip adapter. It's called the Alliance because it was supposed to be like an alliance between both the companies finally coming together, because like Vapergate had made something, and Fogwind made a version 2 of it, and then version 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically, them 2 companies back in the day were trying to fight for like the best kind of RDA, basically. Like one had made one, the other one had made the same exact thing, but like kind of different name and different design, and just kept making it better. And then finally, they were just kind of like, let's create an alliance, and that's actually where the logo came from, with the 2 fists, you know, also coming together in an alliance. You know, pretty cool setup on that. There's not really much I can say about it. Like, this is just one whole hell of a kit. Nice hard case, nice barrel setup, nice like presentation. When I went in the store, it's just sitting there just like this, and I was like, well, what is that? That's nice looking, but it looks old school, because I remember Fogwind and Vapergate from back in the day when I started vaping, which is a little over 10 years ago. It's been a while. Like I said, with the posts on there though, like you got to be careful. Like, you got to stuff her with cotton, but then you also got to make sure you got enough room when you put your barrel on there. The juice well on there though, as you can see, so here's the prongs, like, bam. Juice well is deep. She's deep. I think it's got like a 5 milliliter juice well on this little thing. When I didn't have the cotton in there, it's got some pretty deep juice wells. 3-post design, which actually, yeah, I still got the regular stainless steel one inside of there, but you can change that middle one out to a copper one if you want to do. It does come with that extra piece in there. The bottom of this also is actually, should be hybrid safe from when I checked. Oh, it is adjustable, actually. So, flathead adjustable. You got your name, designer by Fogwind and Vapergate. It's also got a serial number on it, just like back in the day when most of that stuff did. And as you see, it was pretty easily set up. There's your deck. You can even hold the barrel, like I said, pop that piece off, which then, like I said, just design O-rings, drop that on, change your cap, and if you want to change your barrel, you can just pop that off, put a different barrel on. 2 O-rings that sit there. So you got one whole hell of a kit. And sitting at about, we're going to kick it up actually a little bit. Put it at about 80 watts. I got it at 0.25 ohms at the moment. So she doesn't blow as much clouds as, say, like Valhalla, obviously, because this is old school. But it does blow decent clouds. Once I get my coils warmed up and I have the right juice in there, like the flavor's been different between like this and the El Cabrón. There's, like I said, it's almost the same setup as the El Cabrón, just literally 2 different barrel types. That's about it. Except for the El Cabrón, you gotta unscrew the top. Other than that, same kind of post design, same kind of deck design, same kind of barrel system, just a little bit different with the unscrewing. But once you, like I said, you get the coils heated up. Excuse me. She does actually hit. The only thing that is weird, like if I put, say, one of my juices in there, I have like a menthol type juice, which is one of my favorite juice, which is Jenny by Silverback, and it's strawberry watermelon menthol. Now if I put it in, say, like the Cabrón or my Valhalla or my Fat Buddha sitting here, I can sit there and kind of blow clouds all day, but for some reason it's a little too strong inside of this, like the way it fires. I don't know why. This one fires actually excellent, but just makes stuff almost like the Valhalla. It just enhances everything, so it's strong. But as you can see though, like, it's good. I only put about 7-8 drops on there because it holds flavor and juice phenomenally. So for being an old authentic, compared to, say, some of them I have for authentics, this Fat Buddha is nice. So is the El Cabrón for like flavor, airflow, hitting, the 510 adjustable pins. Like I said, it's almost the same as this, just kind of a different barrel system and top, but it's the same concept, basically. There's not many cons or anything I could say about this thing. It's just set up like, oh, these old schools, like this El Cabrón is a beast. Blows a little bit more clouds, but doesn't have as much flavor as the Alliance, by far. The El Cabrón, after about 9 hits, dry. Difference between that and this, like, they're the same kind of post-deck size, just the way this juice well is drilled and milled out holds more e-juice in it. So I get a lot more flavor off of this thing than I do the El Cabrón, which is actually what I'm looking for more. You know, you don't want to just, oh, I just want cloud and no flavor. You want a lot of flavor. So if you want a lot of flavor still with some cloudage, definitely this is pretty good. So if your local store's got one, I suggest getting one because, like I said, it's a gnarly kit. And even the smallest one in here is still just like that full open. It's got amazing airflow all the way around. Got a whole kit, 2 different drip tips, you know. And even if you just now starting to vape and Like, oh, I'm going to grab this cheap mod with this cheap tank. It's going to come with everything that you need. Just start right off. Literally, all you'll need is this, a mod and cotton, and obviously a couple batteries. And you're good to go, because it's going to come with them 2 Claptons inside of there, 3 different barrels. All the tools that you're going to need besides like a pair of scissors cutting your cotton and all that. Like, it is a great setup. Fogwind and Vapergate did a pretty good job on this alliance. It's probably going to stay sitting over here in my little no man's land of mods that I have sitting over here until I get tired of using it, which probably isn't going to be anytime soon. I'm going to give this one probably a good 9 out of 10 for a rating. Like, it's got phenomenal flavor. There's not much I can say about it. The only thing I could say is, excuse me. Oh, that had actually about rocked me. I've been vaping quite a bit though. Is what I normally say. With these RDAs, a lot of people want to do high-end mods and they want to do mech mods. So I wouldn't suggest putting that on a mech mod unless you're going to run it on, say, something small like the Saga, like this, the Saga Mini. You can kind of just and go. But still, at that point, you're running 8.4 volts, which is equivalent to like 275 watts. So you're still going to have to build like at least 0.5 ohms on this. It's a parallel RDA, so if you put 2 coils inside of it that are going to be 0.5 ohms, it's going to be sitting like what I have it now, 0.25 ohms, because it splits the resistance in half, basically. So what I'd like these companies to do is give me a pin, kind of like what Profile PS did for the dual mesh, with a series pin. Let's set up the mechanics like that and keep that trend going, because that's going to actually make a whole lot of difference when it comes to people wanting to vape, you know, higher ohms, because then we don't have to go out there and make a bunch of different kind of coils. Like, I make my own coils. I can make series coils. I can make parallel coils. I can do all that. But it would just be so much easier. Be like, oh, well, today I'm going to do parallel. Pop my parallel pin in. Oh, today I'm going to do series. I'm going to pop my series pin in, sit it at 5 to 6 ohms, slap it on top of a mech mod, and just go all day. That'd be the easier type of situation to go, which also would make it a lot safer for mech mods for a lot of new beginners too, because you wanted at least 4 to 5 ohms or higher on a mech mod, because you're running at 8.4 volts and you got to have a decent good pair of batteries. So if we had the series option, you're not going to stress the batteries out much and be a little bit safer for some of the new beginners. You know, with even a smaller mech mod like the Saga there, it sets at 8.4 volts. You're going to have to slap at least like some Molicel kind of batteries inside of there. You know, some high-end, high-amp batteries, actually. You know, and if you had, say, a series set up on there and it's sitting at 0.5 ohms, you could slap it on there all day long and just go. But it's parallel, so now you got to actually make some series coils to put inside of the parallel mod, which can be a pain in the ass because, you know, it's like 4mm with like 8 or 9 wraps, which is a little bit too big for something like this. The only thing that sucks with this is there's actually no single coil setup on this at all. It's got to run in dual mesh. The barrels do not close off to where it is any bit single coil. It's straight just dual. Unlike the El Cabron, it comes with an extra barrel that it shuts one side off. Well, not an extra barrel that shuts one side off. It comes with the option where you can turn the barrel to shut one side off to make it a single coil if you want to. That would have been a nice option for this too. Make a 4th barrel that just had one hole on it, so if you wanted to run a single coil sitting at like, say, you know, 0.5 ohms, would have been perfect too. But as for this, I like the design. It's stainless steel all the way around. Even the tip is stainless steel. I got the Delrin one on here. I do like the decoration design of these holes. It just makes it look cool. I do like the two fists coming together as the Alliance. Like, that's actually kind of a cool engraving. Like, yeah, no, that's nice. I love the barrel design with the airflow. It just makes a whole lot more flavor come out of this thing. I like the deck design on here. I'm still an old school kind of deck design person. But all around, all together, like I said, I'm going to give this, like, just because of the flavor and the airflow and the design of it, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. But as an everyday use kind of RDA, I'd have to drop it to like 5 out of 10, just because of some of the features that I wish that we had from some of the newer stuff on there too. Obviously, we can't go back in time and do it. Maybe some of these companies can take some of these authentic designs like this and make them into a newer design kind of thing. That would be cool as could be. I'm trying to bring back the authentic kind of like situation that we all loved back in the day, because they hold so much power, so much flavor, so much like build styles that we could do back then to like now we only have certain aspects that we can do. You know, because of the vaping community and the FDA and all that other shit. So, but we'll get into all that some other time. But by vapergate and fogwind, the Alliance. Definitely, if you got one in your local store and you just want like a nice cheap RDA to kind of piss around with to see what you can do, I suggest getting it. It's a really good one. Like I said, I couldn't find much about it online. I tried. Most of the info is on the box, which still isn't much. I don't know if the companies that even made it are still in business. They might have been bought out by a lot of these other big name ones by now. But that is, like I said, this is the Alliance by vapergate and fogwind. Mox Opal out.